Hey, so how's it
Awesome.
going?
Good, bro.
Yeah, we finally got this started.
Nice, man.
So,
So what you did yesterday, you said?
yesterday I did it was a part of the RCIA class that I'm taking for conversion to the Catholic community and the Catholic religion. And I had to go to the Abbey at St. Walburga, which is a St. Benedictine nun community. And we went there in order to get away, I guess. It was the motivation there is to get away and be in a silent meditational environment where we could read scripture. And we did. We went into the New Testament a little bit. And then we were given certain amount of freedom to go do whatever. Either just pray at the chapel or go walk the scenic mountain area, which is what I did. And then we came back and we got to see sort of what the nuns do during their prayer episodes, which is cool because they do a lot of singing and they sing very high. So even though they look like they're like in their 60s and 70s, they sing at such a high tone that they sound like they're teenagers. So that was kind of cool. It kind of brings a youth environment to it, but it was really nice. They did that, and then we had lunch served by them. It was like rice, vegetables, and chicken, and a lot of the things that they have there are all made there because that's a St. Benedictine nun community. They're self-sufficient for most of it. You know, they get
also they grow vegetables and all that.
Say again.
They grow their own vegetables and all that.
They grow a portion of their own vegetables, a portion of their livestock.
So it's like a monk type of style.
Very much so, because Saint Benedict was living. He was a saint. He was a saint who lived in somewhat of a cave. I haven't got the real story on Saint Benedict too much yet, but he was handed down food once a week, and he just stayed there. And he wrote, what they call the Saint Benedictine rule, and that's what the nuns follow. They follow that rule, and that's their discipline. So it was cool to experience sort of what they endure every day, even though I didn't go out there and milk a cow or anything, but they make a lot of their own cheese and sausage.
They have that here too. There's actually a lady here. They have some nuns, and they have a farm, and one of the nuns, that's what she specializes in, is making cheese, right? Because they have cows and all that, and she studied trees. Like, she took a whole bunch of books, and she really got into that, and that's what she does, like some specialty cheese, and that's her thing. And that's what you're saying exactly is what they do there. And I just saw this on a video. I don't know if I saw this on Netflix or if I saw this on YouTube, but there was a video about I don't know, I think it was about food, and there was an episode about cheeses and the cultures of the cheeses and the biotics and all that stuff, and then they were interviewing her. And that's the first time I saw that, so it's probably almost like the same type of thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And, nuns, they have different levels, like karate.
They got the black belt.
The black belt, yeah. So you start out as a white belt. No, there was 2 converting nuns, and for the first 3 months, you don't get to wear the outfit that you normally associate with nuns. But after those 3 months, then you start wearing sort of a white top with like a black lining, and then eventually you'll get to where you have the black with the white outer, and that's kind of when you hit the 9-year mark. So it takes you 9 years of doing that stuff before you are considered a full converted nun. There's like a lot of trivial experiences that you have to go through to make sure you're a good fit. You get put in you have different tasks you have to do that you complete, and they kind of look at what you were good at, and if it's definitely not a socialist community. Like, everyone has to put in. There's no, there's no milking the system. So
really?
Even after they retire, they still have to go back and commute and give to and donate their time to the community.
So is it fascist?
Yeah, it's not. They don't have any fashion.
Oh,
yeah, right. No, it's not very. It's not fascist.
No, I know this.
Yeah,
everything's up. apparently everything's fascist nowadays.
Yeah, that's
you know?
true.
If it's not communist, then it's fascist.
Yeah.
Right?
We just don't understand.
There's no middle ground.
Yeah. It's because it hasn't been tried the right way yet. That's why it hasn't been successful.
Yeah, we have to fail multiple times to actually get it right.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
No.
That's wild. So were you there like the whole weekend or just one day? Like
Just
from the
one
morning?
day. I got out there early in the morning and I came back that night. And so,
Is that like in a different town?
yeah, it was. It was about an hour drive.
Alright.
It was in a town called Virginia Dale, which I later found out that Virginia Dale is named after the wife of some bandit that lived in like the 20s and was robbing stagecoaches and stuff like that. They still have one of the Virginia Dale stagecoaches there, but a stagecoach there from that area, and it was named after Virginia Dale, the wife. She must have been a good wife, and the bandit named her. And he was terrible. I guess he got killed in the action, something like that. So another story that I got from a viewpoint of a person, not actually off of Wikipedia or anything. So I don't know how factual it is. So this,
If it's on the internet, it must be true.
yeah, or Facebook. Yeah, if he would, if Virginia Dale had a Facebook account, we would have known for sure whether or not she was real or not. So
That's hilarious.
yeah,
I'm just giving my dog some carrots.
well, that's
I'm
good.
feeding it. Yeah, I'm feeding
Must be
it.
a seeing eye dog.
Yeah, it has great vision.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I've been trying to feed like the pets healthier food, like fruits and vegetables, because it's like, why not? Why haven't I been like feeding them better foods like that?
Yeah.
So dogs like it, so whatever.
You
But
gotta
yeah,
get away
man, that's
from that.
cool, bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was good, man. This whole experience is cool. You know, they had a good lesson involved. They're the different prayers that they're talking about. They came to a central focal point of just telling you that you're not free. Your free will is not free unless you give it a disciplined outline. And so the best way I can explain this is how they did it with Michael Jordan. They used Michael Jordan. They said that Michael Jordan is an amazing basketball player, but he had to set in certain disciplines before he became that amazing basketball player. So he had to, put a lot of work into it, a lot of effort. He had to believe in himself. He had to have an insight. And what happened was, after a while, he got really good at everything. He can dunk it, he can pass it, he can shoot threes, defense, you name it, he's got it. And so when he's on the basketball court now, because of all those disciplines that he developed, now he can go out to that basketball court and he feels free. He can do anything out there because he doesn't have to think. It's all instinctual. It just happens. And he's out there and he's making magic happen for a lot of people. Everyone is like in awe of all the things he can accomplish. And he's out there having a great time, enjoying life, and he's free because he's established himself through discipline and things like that. And that's kind of what the church was trying to say, that once you do that.
That makes sense, because it's like you create like muscle memory, right? You create these avenues in your brain, and you create these habits that you create that discipline. So it's like a boundary, and once you create that boundary from repetition of doing that discipline, it seems that once you do, let's say, whatever your trade is, your specialty, whatever your hobby, whatever's that speciality that you do, you're able to do it to a maximum naturally, because now you created those neural paths in your brain that allows you to do that without thinking about it in that discipline. That makes sense. Like, that's like total, like a light bulb went on my brain. That makes so much sense.
Right.
It's so simple. It's so true. Because, it's like, remember when we used to go to the gym and you was like, you gotta shock the muscles, right? And that's how you get them working. But, but that you still need to have that discipline of being able to continuously do that. And once you continuously do it for a while, it becomes second nature. You just, and then you're able to really focus on being better, because you don't have to focus on, spend that energy to try to develop a certain routine or whatever it is. So that's a good philosophy.
Well, you learn how to encompass it all, and that takes a lot of time. There's a lot of things in life that are like that, where there's just a million options out there, and when there's a million options out there, it makes everything much harder, and you can't focus in on certain things. And so you really become one of those people that are just, you're kind of good at a lot of things, and you're never really great at anything. And that makes it a lot harder.
A jack of all trades, but a master of none.
Right. And that's the flip flop. You're either one or the other, right? You're either one of the guy that never really disciplined himself to kind of keep things simple and hone in, or you're the one that says, well, I don't know, there's just too much out there, I can't. And then you're when you're great at something, you're much happier, you're much more fulfilled. And then when you're a jack of all trades, well, not really, right? And you're never really fulfilled. You're never really fulfilled.
That's funny because that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like I like so much that I never focus on just one thing how I want to, because I don't know. And that's why maybe I'm never happy, because I don't know what. I don't know, man. That's
true. When I self-reflect, I feel the exact same way because I have no skill at anything.
And then those nuns, they do focus on just one thing and they perfect it. Yeah. And then that's how they probably establish that happiness. Is that what that has to do with?
Yeah. Fulfillment. You remember, being deployed, when we were in Iraq, you only had like a few choices of where to eat. And most of the time we went to the DFAC, but you really only had a few choices of where to eat. And I just remember being so satisfied with whatever we did. And there was only a few choices. Like we went to the gym or we went to MWR. Otherwise we were training, otherwise we were eating, otherwise we were sleeping. And that was it. And life felt so controlled in such a weird environment that we've never been in before. But because we had those basics set up, we were able to fill in everything else with a lot. And that's kind of like that whole, Jordan Peterson.
That makes so much sense. Because we were really happy with the little bits that we had.
Yeah.
As long as we had morale, even let's say the morale of what was going on wasn't great, but since we had a strong team, we didn't have much food, we didn't have much things to do, but we were able to make the best out of all of that, and we enjoyed it because we were able to just use that energy, I guess, for that. Just like you're saying, we just had a minimum of stuff, but we were able to, with that, be happy and enjoy that time. It was a great time, man. Like, I'm thinking back at it, it's like, there was times that in the DFAC, we didn't even have any sodas or nothing like that. Or we only had water and that, green liquid? That's it. We didn't have anything else to drink.
Yeah.
For months.
Yeah, where lemonade becomes somewhat of a luxury to get away from. I remember there's never a shorting of Gatorade, though, for some reason. Remember they used to have those, those lidded iced containers, and there was just tons of Gatorade inside? And there was the packets. We had the packets. Oh, and you go to the PX every now and then and get the big powder, or you have the packets there.
But remember in Bowser, we didn't even have a PX.
That's true.
For a while, we didn't have anything for a while. Right. It was just the old British base. We didn't have a PX. The DFAC was very small at the time, so we had only the British Indian food. And we didn't have any drinks, just the water and that liquid. Remember? And it was a while that we had that.
Yeah, that's right.
And all those flies, remember? Like the flies would come in and remember
the
that?
fly traps would just, you hang them and like the next day they're just full.
Yep, they're so full. It was like so much protein right there.
And then the British
remember,
people.
we used to go to Subway in Kuwait and in Iraq too, and it's like you would go and they would just have all these flies in there. And I'll be hey, can I have?
They put on their.
Can I have some salami, some ham, turkey, and make sure some extra flies on that, please?
That's why I never like going, even at the DFAC, I never like going to the sandwich area because the mayonnaise, it's like the freaking flies knew that they would get sucked up in our sandwich, and the guys that were making the food, they didn't care. Remember Dosed?
Yeah,
we had some friends at Basra. They were good to us. They got us Kit Kat bars.
We had a lot of friends. We made a lot of friends out there.
That's right.
We were really popular. People knew us all over Iraq. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It was crazy. Remember when we went to Baghdad? People were like, "Hey, aren't you guys from Burin that used to set up like the Latin nights and all that stuff?" It was like, "Oh yeah, what's up?" Like. Celebrities? That was crazy.
Yeah, we met. Yeah, it was crazy when we met people in Baghdad. I remember because that's how we got to see the Daddy Yankee. Who was it? What was the concert we saw there?
No, it was damn, what is that guy's name?
Oh,
Frankie J, was it?
Boots in the Fur, wasn't it? What was the music?
Boots
No.
in the Fur. The whole
North
damn.
Oh man.
Is that Frankie J or something like that? Some like I don't know.
God.
Mexican?
2008, man. It's such a long time ago. You can't
10
even.
years ago, bro. That's
Ugh.
10 years. And you know what? It does not feel like it was 10 years ago.
No.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I reminisce on it so much that it feels so fresh.
Yeah.
It
Except for
doesn't feel
this.
like it was a long time ago.
Except for who that artist was.
Oh, yeah. Well, he wasn't that important. So
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Oh, I'd have to look him up again. I really can't remember.
I think it wasn't it Frankie J? Let me look at my phone. Hold on.
Yeah, I would have to look it up too. There's so much going on, and Baghdad was such, man, what a great escape.
I thought
What
it was
was
cool when
normal.
we did that Arabian Night.
Yeah, I'll never forget that, dude. That was the weirdest, the most accepting night that I had to be there. I had to accept what was in that environment in order to enjoy myself, and we still enjoyed ourselves. And I really had to accept that because you're not dancing with girls. You're dancing with other guys, and it was supposed to be a bonding moment,
Yeah.
And we're all locked.
I thought it was
arms.
cool, man. I embraced it.
Yeah, we had
I
to
thought
embrace it. Yeah,
It was awesome because we were like the only ones that did that.
yeah,
Like we were like engaging with other cultures and open minded. We were able to. And I think that's why we enjoyed it more because we were so open minded with meeting people and trying to enjoy instead of just pouting around and some people like always sobbing and bro, like go enjoy. We have all these people around us and all these different experiences and cultures. Let's just explore and enjoy. And we did that, and we were the ones that had the most fun. We really did.
by far. I remember, compared to everyone else that went to that Baghdad training, no one explored the first couple days. And we were out already. Like, by the first boots on ground, we found where our tent was, and we were like, all right, let's go. Let's go somewhere.
Yeah, we're like, hey, let's go check this out. Let's go check where that is.
We went to Alpha Palace, man. I don't think anyone else, and I still have those photos. I have the photos where we're in the office that General Petraeus was in, and we're trying to do our little imitations as if we were in the
Yeah, I
meeting.
got those too, man.
Yeah,
I have them on
and-
my computer.
So the things that we did that we didn't see anyone else do, and I don't think people really started exploring going out until we did. Now I do remember there were some people that must have been there already, like Sergeant Guerra. What was he doing? I can't remember. And I remember
He
Sergeant
went out there.
Gomez.
I think they went out there because of what were the vehicles that we went to go train with?
The MRAPs. Wasn't it MRAPs?
No, it wasn't.
No,
It
it
was,
was the ASVs. The ASVs.
The ASVs. So
Yeah.
they went out there to collect the ASVs and do all that stuff first.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they needed to get trained on repairs of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they went out there first. But it was just like, them two and maybe another person. It wasn't really much. It was, I don't know if Sergeant Waters was there. Who else? I know they were up there. But it was, I think, because of that.
Yeah.
It was maybe to train them how to learn how to work on them because no one else would have known, right?
Right.
And then they sent us, the teams, and then we were the lucky ones because we were the second group to start the second week. So
That's
that
right.
first week, we didn't do anything. And the first team, they trained the first week and then they had to go back. We were able to stay there longer and we were able to take advantage of that whole week. We went to the pools. We went
Australian
around.
pools, right?
Yeah.
Or where we saw those bikinis, and we were like, "Oh man, this is where it's
Oh,
at." And then
here
when
we
we found
go.
out it was guys
We're
wearing
like,
those,
okay.
like, oh, okay, so
The most skin
That's-
you've seen all year.
wow, all right, they're tanning. That's the Australian forces there.
Bro, that's how they all were. Like the Europeans and the Australians and all that, they were just like in like bikinis and stuff, and we couldn't even be in shorts. And it's like, why are they so lax and we are so like? It's crazy. That's weird. I don't know. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, but I mean, Army owned the post, so of course the rules are going to be a lot more strict for us.
Yeah,
For the
but I
most
always
part.
thought that was wild that like the British were able to drink alcohol in Basra, but we weren't. I thought that was like Except for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was the only time. Remember when they gave us that freaking hot beer?
Yeah, we had one beer.
No,
It was a
two.
limit.
Remember?
Oh, it was two. Yeah, it was two. That's right. That's
Two
right.
limit.
Two limits.
And they were hot. I got 2 Heinekens, bro.
Was it Thanksgiving or was it Super Bowl?
It was Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
No, it was a Super Bowl. You're right.
Yeah.
It was a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And everyone they were like making sure that we didn't have more than 2.
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
I think we wanted to act crazier than we were too, so we chugged them right away.
Yeah,
like we didn't even wait. We were trying to get as much out of it as we could.
Yeah, and they were hot. They weren't even cold. Like that's crazy. And we drank it.
Yeah. What's it? Bud Light? What was it? I can't remember.
They had a couple different brands, but I remember I took the Heinekens.
It was Heineken. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took the Heinekens.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, shit, it's hot. But whatever. Drank it. It was like, and then in Alcoot, I remember I was drinking near beer with mixing it with fucking gin. It's the worst thing ever. But it was like, whatever. Like, you don't care. You just do what you got.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Didn't they have O'Doul's already available? Like, couldn't we get O'Doul's?
Yeah, they had O'Doul's. But
like
we didn't have O'Doul's in Basra until the PX came through.
Yeah.
But that was after the British pulled out.
Yeah.
Because remember, when we got there in October of 2008, it was all British. And then it transitioned into American after a couple months. And I think it was maybe February.
Hmm.
I remember it was like February or March. Because it was right before we left. That's when it started transitioning a lot.
Right.
Because we were all, the second group of Americans there?
That's right.
It was that first unit that they only had like 30 American soldiers. And then it was us.
Right.
And then everybody else was British.
Yeah, we were sort of the first unit though to really integrate with the British.
Yeah, we were the first unit. We were the ones that were like actually taking like the guys that were training the police and all that.
That's right. We're doing the QRF details. We had a lot of missions.
Affairs. Yeah.
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 10th Mountain came in. That's who it was. 10th Mountain came in.
10th Mountain came in. Yeah, but that was like way after. That was close to when we were leaving.
That's
we
right.
had to do everything.
Yeah.
With that MP unit.
And
remember that MP unit that they were like from Germany or something? That we got those awards?
Yes.
697 or some shit like that?
That's right. It was from the 793rd MP Brigade.
Yeah. So it was just us two.
Yeah.
And we were the only Americans there. There was nobody else.
Right.
And remember the defect was that little small like tent thing. And then they moved on and they had us go to the bigger one. So remember the small one we used to go to?
Yeah.
That we had to like walk through these chains, wash our hands, and then sit down. Oh my god.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Do you remember when the Raiders showed up?
Yeah. And we were showing them the Emirates.
Remember they said that we were the highest crew? Because you were in my MRAP, right?
Yeah, we were in it.
That's
yeah,
right.
We were.
And they wrote on that box
The Cayman. In the Cayman.
In the Cayman,
I still
yeah.
I got the autographs and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Remember? That was fun. I remember. Man, I remember all that. You're reminding me. I didn't even think about that.
That was great because like we got the cheerleaders where the other MRAP crew got the football players.
Yeah.
We
were our lucky ones.
The Raider
See,
Rats.
man, it's like in everything it worked out.
Yeah.
We were able to go to we went to Tillil the most. We got all the best ones.
Yeah.
The best, we were able to just go out there all the time.
Yep. That Tillil was the I remember Sniper Hill was their like internet thing. They had the not Buka. What's the smoking? What were
The hookah lounge.
Oh,
the
hookahs. Yeah, the hookah camps.
The hookah lounge.
Yeah, lounge. Yeah.
The hookah lounge. Yeah.
That's right. I remember Vega was there. Vega was there.
Yeah, Vega went with us the second time.
Yeah.
Because the first time he wasn't able to go with us, remember?
Yep.
I remember you remember, but the second time we were like, yeah. And we got him to come with us and he had fun.
Yeah. You know. Yeah, that was us three, man. We were especially at Camp Buring. That was awesome.
Camp Buring, we had a lot of fun. Just working out was fun, man.
Yeah.
I miss those. It's like we would like wake up, just hang out, like personal hygiene, and I would go smoke a cigarette with Vega. You come hang out with us. He would make the coffee, all that stuff, and then we would go have breakfast, and then we would go to the USO.
Yep.
Come back. If there was nothing else to do in the day, we'll come back, chill, maybe take a nap. We wake up around like 3 to 4, work out for about an hour, hour and a half, hard.
Yep.
Well, first we would have pre-workout, which was
Eno Explode. Yeah.
Yep. The raspberry, blue raspberry, like down that, go work out hard for an hour, hour and a half, and then we would go have our protein shakes and stuff, and then we would go right to the DFAC.
Yep.
And then from the DFAC, we would go and hang out at the USO, and we'd be there for hours, man, just talking, joking, watching internet, just man, it was good. Like thinking about it, it's fun. We had a good time, man. Wow, isn't it? And look at that, simple things.
Not very much to do. It's very satisfying. There's no confusion.
No, man.
We spent a lot of time at the USO. We kind of became workers there. I remember that.
Yeah, We got those
certificates.
Awards.
Yep.
Yeah, I still got that.
I still got mine too. It's actually my I Love Me book. So my blue.
Yeah. I got it. Like a portfolio. Yeah.
So man, but come back and everything changed. Everything got harder. Get back and everyone wants to party. I mean, it was still fun at Fort Hood.
Yeah, but the thing is that when we got back, everybody went their own way.
Yeah, that's right.
It totally everything changed.
Sometimes we hung out. I remember Alex Williams and John Cole and Buck and Dooley. There's a whole group of them. But we always hung out. And Reyes.
Reyes hung out a lot with Jeff.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we still had a group, but it wasn't.
It was more fractured.
Yeah.
It splintered off.
Yeah. Yeah, because you had to go back to your section. I wasn't with you anymore.
That's right.
On work days.
I moved in with Vega for a month, 2 months.
Yeah.
I was living with Vega.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's when Vega and his wife got together at that point.
Yeah.
And he bought that Suzuki. Samurai.
Yeah, remember the Samurai? Yeah, I wonder if he still has it. I have to ask him.
Yeah, I don't think he does because when I saw him in Georgia, I didn't see it. So I don't think he's still got that. He's
living the life out in Hawaii. I see pictures.
Is it Warren Officer?
We should go visit him. We should go visit him, man.
He should pay for our tickets. He's got the more money now. That guy.
Yeah,
he's a warrant officer. He makes all that money.
Warrant officer, and then they're doing good out there. They must be.
And I remember when we were. What was that place that they had to sign up as El Salvador? That was Alcoop, wasn't it?
Yep, Alcoop.
That's where
we moved in first.
Yep.
And the El Salvadorian military base thing.
That's right. Had. Yeah. And
it looked like a prison or something. It was separate from everybody. We always had the shitty units all the time.
Yeah.
And they put us up.
After that, though, right? Those shoes.
Yeah, then those shoes. Yeah, man. That's when we started living well.
Yeah.
And then that's remember I did that whole setup? I had the table with the dominoes, with the speakers. Everybody would congregate there.
Yep, that's right. That's how we did it. That's how Salsa Night existed there.
Yep. Oh, we had it it was good. We had it good, man. Everybody was always there, and it was just
you wouldn't think that we went on a deployment in a war zone at all.
No. No. People wouldn't think. It's
it was just
that?
Yeah. A shitty vacation for most, but for soldiers it was right on. That's right on the money for us.
Yeah, well, it's because we made the best out of it. We were able to not we complained every once in a while, but we made the best with what we had.
Yeah.
With whatever they threw at us, we just okay, well, let's make the best out of this. We always try to find something to do. Because that's what you have to do. You got to make do with what you got.
That'd be really cool if we could make this a storyline at some point in the podcast history, when we feature stuff that we start calling around, like you said earlier. But we need to call people that were on that deployment, and then
man, Vega.
Vega, Jeff. Obviously, yeah, Vega. Then
we call Sal. We call
Sal's
a whole bunch of people. We just call them try to reach out, be hey, we just reach out.
Yeah.
Why not?
Diana,
and then we can reminisce on all this.
If we could get a hold of, oh man, I forgot his last name already. He actually got escaped Mexico. He's in all kinds of trouble.
Alex
Solis, there we go.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah,
I'd love to
hear your story. Tell us your story.
I'd love to hear it.
We don't want to know. We want to know.
The minute I got some weird older guy saying that he's the father of a daughter that got mixed in with Solis, and he went to Mexico, and there was all this craziness going on. The minute that happened, I wanted to talk to him right away. And he hasn't been on Facebook.
You want to know if it's true or not. You
Yeah.
know, like, because people, you don't know what's really happening.
That's true.
Like, I heard all the stories, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like, stories are stories. I want to know his side of the story.
Yeah.
Because, I want to give him the benefit of that. What really happened?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's wild from the stories that they said, the things that happened.
It's weird.
And, bro, you know what I did read? Somebody posted, and I think it was Cobb. I think he posted this on Facebook. Remember Oliver?
Yeah.
He got arrested for child molesting a girl since she was 7. And now she's like 12 or something like that. So that means that it started right when we got back from Iraq. And I saw the news report, and I should have taken a snapshot of it, and I didn't. Now I gotta research it. Because I was looking the other day and I couldn't find it. But it was on Temple News. So I guess it happened in Temple. Can you believe that shit? Can you believe that shit? Oliver.
We picked on Oliver a lot. That was
Yeah, we did.
He was
my soldier. He was my soldier, bro. Can you believe that? I had a freaking soldier that was a fucking sexual molester, apparently, or
well, if I looked up soldiers. Speaking of which, if I looked up Montgomery, I think I'd have a weird story on him too. At this point,
that guy. Bro, we had some creepos. Bro,
let's put it lightly.
We had characters. Let's say it like that. We had some characters. Oh,
Oliver the Obstacle. Some people think I'm a Yeti, or Bigfoot, or John Goodman's asshole.
No, we used to make fun of him all the time. Like he would like take his shirt off and had all that like the werewolf.
So
and
yeah,
Son Duran.
I got a tattoo once. It was $500. Cost $300 for them to shave the arm first.
Man.
But he had a big expensive tattoo, I guess. So, and his biceps. He did his.
Didn't he buy a bow and arrow? Who was it that bought a bow and arrow? Somebody bought a bow and arrow and they got it delivered, and we were out there in Basra. And I think it was Sarflin was like, "What the fuck are you doing with a bow and arrow?" And he was just hanging out with a bow and arrow, like some combat bow and arrow that you order online.
I remember them setting up a lane right next to the tents that we're in. I do remember that, and the bow being out there. I just cannot remember.
Yeah, it had like a whole bunch of pounds of like it was a combat freaking bow and arrow. Like really?
I always talk about when I went in Afghanistan and we lived in our shoes. They were two level shoes. So you walked up the ladder to go up to the second steps to get up to your second row. And I always lived on the second row for some reason, but it was so different. And I kept trying to explain like this is how America does housing units because British are not that way. We were sleeping in tombs, right? And they had us cement blocks all the way around us, just big enough for us to get in and then slide to our left or our right into our mattress. And on top of the mattress, over the cement blocks, there's a steel plate and 800 pounds of wrapped up sand on top of it. And we would take our IOTV and we would just put it on and then get underneath our
Isn't that crazy?
And that's every time mortars went off or that alarm went off and that CRAM is out there and you're hearing it, you just get under there. Because when I got in Afghanistan, we had to get out of our shoe, walk down the ramp, kit, everything. Didn't matter if it was 2 a.m. and you're in PTs, but you had your IOTV on, your Kevlar, iPro, weapon, and you're in there, and you're just waiting for the all clear to go off at Kandahar. And then the all clear would go off. All clear. All clear. Boop. And it would go off, and then, you go back to your shoe, and then you get on your phone that you purchased at the little market, and you text your squad leader, like, okay, and then he would send the report up within, like, the next 30 minutes or something like that. And it was just so different. You actually had to get out, and people were like, some people would just not get out. And it's not like you're going to take accountability of everybody when we're split everywhere. It's not like we were all in one tent. We all had our own rooms, and we were everywhere, so no one's going to say who came out and who didn't. So me and my wife, we were in the same shoe together, and it started to become a thing where we just wouldn't go out because we're like, whatever, it only hits the airfield, no one cares. And it was like 2 weeks after doing that a rocket hit really close to our area, and we felt the shaking of it. Like, boom! And it came through our chest. What the heck was that? And we got on, and our kid, like, scared. And then we ran down that night, and I just remember how thumping my heart was. It was just on fire, and it hit. It's so funny. They're building up a new restaurant area, and everyone's looking forward to it. And it was the opening day. That night, after the first day it opened, it nailed the Pizza Hut, and it was right next to our shoes, kind of. And so the Burger King was still there. Like there's like a wrap place that made wraps.
Was it a mortar or a Chinese rocket?
It was a mortar. Yeah, the mortar came in and it completely took out the whole kitchen of the Pizza Hut. And plus,
sometimes they would launch those damn rockets. Those were really strong.
Yeah,
those were strong.
Yeah. And remember when 10th Mountain got there, and then all of a sudden we just weren't getting mortared at Basra anymore? It was like...
That happened, right?
Yeah, it was because they...
You know what? I think that is because they had an issue with the British until the British were gone.
Yeah. I don't think they feared the British, because British... Remember, on QRF, we just did perimeter checks.
Yeah.
We never went out after the trucks that were shooting off mortars, but 10th Mountain came in, they're like, yeah, that's not our motto here. We're going to do things a little differently. We chase the bad guys. We're Americans. Yeah. America. And they went out there and they chased it. And after that, it was like, more just stopped coming in. I mean,
they would even break in to steal like the vehicles. Remember that? We had to do freaking guard.
Yeah.
Every freaking night.
Yep.
Of our vehicles. That sucked, man. I used to hate that.
I hated mortar pool guard. I hated mortar pool guard.
Yeah, mortar pool guard. Remember? We had to do mortar pool guard.
Yeah. Because freaking rats were out there, man. That's why I didn't like it. Those those cafeteria rats that end up being like that big. They get huge.
Yeah.
Running through the mortar pool. I remember that used to scare the crap out of me because I remember the night before I got promoted, I was on guard duty. I get off guard duty. I went and I got promoted, and then I came back to guard duty. Like it was a really long shift of guard duty. But the night I got there really early in the morning, where it was still nighttime out, and I got out there and I exchanged positions, and I can't remember with who, but I think I was with Cobb actually that night. But it was Huey, Sergeant Huey, and so he was the NCO, I was a specialist, and we're sitting on the trunks, and I just start seeing the like little light shadow go across behind the tires of the MRAPs, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get that thing. I didn't realize how big it was because the shadow made it look tiny as it's going across, and then when I ran out there, I went to stomp on it, and I missed, and it scared the crap out of me because I just noticed it was behind me now, behind my leg. And I remember I screamed like a girl, and luckily when I jumped, it instead of trying to get me, it started to run away. And I realized I was faster than it. I actually was running up to it, and I was faster than the mouse, and so I actually tried to kick it, but I kept missing. And then it got away, and I went back, and I'm breathing hard. I got all this gear on, like, that was awesome. And he was just, laughing his butt off, of course. But man, those rats were serious. They were seriously way big. And remember, you could see the footprints on the tables that we used to eat on. You could see like the rat footprints.
I noticed that. Really?
Yeah.
What?
When we went to where Dosed was, right? When the crappy Charlie Camp DFAC.
Yeah.
There was a vent. I remember when we walked in, there was a vent in one of the corners that one of the tables was at. And every time I sat there, I always saw mouse footprints, and they were like that big around. I mean, they were pretty huge.
They're eating that crap.
Yeah, they were. And they were leaving.
That wasn't as bad as when we used to go out to freaking
Steelback.
Yeah.
Can't Steelback.
I hated Steelback, bro.
You know what I liked about Steelback? I liked how everything was heated. Remember when we went into the, because when we were at Camp Steelback, it was cold outside. I remember it was like, at nighttime, it would drop down and you're like freezing.
Yeah, the tents were cool. It was fine when we went to the tents because we had a routine. We would take a nap, we would go hang out. But, man, the food was horrible.
The food was horrible. The gym sucked, really.
The gym sucked. The food was horrible.
The NWR, it was like 5 computers, I think.
That was the worst. Because we didn't have any internet either.
And we were watching like Kuwait soap operas in there. on the TV.
Yeah. Bro, I remember when once we had breakfast once.
What was that game we used to play with the darts?
Oh,
Where you try to eliminate the other player. I can't remember.
Yeah. I forgot the name, but yeah, we were. That's constantly what we did.
Oh, and we had an awesome interpreter. Remember that interpreter? He was like 6'3", massive guy, and we were trying to
like he was like a Ken Barbie doll thing, but like Iraqi.
and he,
like really good looking dude.
And he made Ivan Drago comments. He was like, I would beat you. Like I remember, like the way he said it with ping pong. I was like, you mean in ping pong, right? Yeah. I was like, watch me. Stay over there with your paddle. Yeah, I mean, but he was a nice guy. He was a super nice guy. And then, man, I remember we came back to Camp Charlie one time, and we tried to hang out with the Brits on one of their fun nights. And like our fun nights, we had parties going on, and then like their fun night, they were like, "Oh, yeah, we're doing quizzes." Yeah,
yeah, they're trying to be more refined or something.
Their fun nights was to play Scramble.
Remember that? They used to have wine and cheese night.
Yeah, they're like,
it's like what? So different. But they were able to drink, which made it better for them. They had that one day that they could drink, and we couldn't do that.
Yeah. Remember the name of their vehicles? The Snatch.
They had some pretty cool vehicles though.
Yeah.
They had the Land Rovers and the Range Rovers.
Well, but they called remember they called their vehicles names like the Bushmaster and like the Snatch.
And like the tanks, those like tank vehicles and all that. Yeah, they had those, but also like remember they used to go around in like those ATVs and they were like special forces or something like that. They would go around in ATVs, and then the MPs had their Land Rovers. And then, like, not the generals, but the high-ranking officers had freaking Range Rovers.
Yeah.
It was like, what? You have Range Rovers out here? What are you doing with a Range Rover? What for? Yeah. I don't understand. That's a luxury vehicle. What are you doing driving around? The guy's got freaking Range Rovers.
I felt like the rules changed on QRF every day. Every day I was hearing a new brief with a new set of rules and guidelines that we had to follow. And I think it was just because we kept having to, like, get rid of the British guidelines and do like what our commanders wanted.
We're incorporating new guidelines.
Yeah, and they had it really good. I mean, the only girls that were in bathing suits at the time were Brits. Remember, we were walking to the DFAC and we just kind of look over a certain section of tents every single day. Every day.
Yep. I was like. They had it good. Like they were more liberal with the way they were. Like it's like they treated them like adults and we were the children.
Yeah.
That's how I felt like. It's like the Americans, we were the children. Like we had all these strict rules. We couldn't do this. We couldn't do that. Like they were bathing outside, sunbathing, and we couldn't even walk outside without the IBAs. Remember?
That's
there was a while that we had to go just to make a phone call. We had to have all like full battle rattle.
Yep.
It was like why? Oh, because of all the mortars and rockets and stuff. It's like, well, but it's not happening all the time, like you're saying. Like, we're just going right there. No, you have to have it on.
I know.
But look at them, like, they're sunbathing.
You know what I used to hate about phone calls? That's what I used to hate about phone calls. Besides the fact that sometimes it didn't work and it was annoying and you're, like, dialing, like, a really long number, it was the fact that they kept interrupting our Family Guy episodes whenever Vega would go out. And he was always on the phone. And I remember we used to pause the Family Guy episodes, and I would be like, "Hey, come on, man! Like But man, did we not get down on some Family Guy while we were at Basra? Is that when we watched The Sopranos too? Was also Basra? I think we got done with like.
I think so. I remember that's what I think. No, you know what? It was. I think we started Sopranos in Camp Buca. Yeah. I remember. You know why? Because I used to watch some of the episodes. It was that and Friends. Right after, remember when we stopped doing the pre-Manfrick, the guard duty thing?
Yeah.
Remember when we had to do that?
And we started doing escorting?
Yeah, when we were doing the escorting, and then that stopped, and then there was, like, no job.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, like, we were supposed to start, I remember this, man, because, check this out. This is how, like, while I was being helped, I got fucked. Sergeant Cap was trying to hook me up, right? because we were supposed to start doing the whole. Remember that we had to do like guard for the cement or the brick factory? We were supposed to do some brick factory thing.
That's right. In the green zone.
And no, it was in Buka, in Camp Buka.
Well, yeah, it was at Buka, but they had a green zone.
Yeah,
where, like,
yeah. So we were gonna prepare to do that, and it was supposed to be horrible because it was like an oven. So Sergeant Cap put me to start working at the CP, so I wouldn't have to do that.
That's right.
And then they never did the brick thing. And so I got stuck with a job while you guys were like able to like chill, and I got fucked over.
I remember that. I used to see because where the CP was on the way to the gym, and sometimes we'd stop in.
Oh man, I was so mad, and I had to do that at night.
Oh, I totally remember that now. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then after, so my shift would end at like 6, 7 in the morning, and I would go back to the tent, and I would watch Friends or Sopranos on the bootlegs, and then I would fall asleep at like maybe at 8 in the morning, and then sleep the whole day until like what 4? I would wake up at 4 to 5, and then like meet up with you guys, and we would go get dinner, and then after that we would hang out in that basketball square.
Yep.
Remember?
Oh yeah.
That was cool too, man. That was pretty.
You remember Friday Night Fights?
Yeah, that was fun, man.
And they brought in that comedian. Oh, what was his name?
I didn't get to see the comedian.
Oh, you didn't? It's a celebrity. He's a celebrity. He was in that Matthew McConaughey movie where they're going in the desert. Sahara, I think it was called. But he also did that National Geographic TV show, like comedy thing, in mixed of a movie where he was like, sharks can only be found in 2 places, the northern and southern hemisphere, right? And
really?
Yeah, like the stupid.
I don't know who it is.
Goodness, man. Zahn. That was his last name. I think his first name was Mike. I think it was Mike Zahn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, he's a super funny guy, and I remember they had the boxing ring. And you got all these guys.
I remember that. Yes,
yeah,
they had the boxing ring and stuff.
That's so.
Right
so
by,
when that was
right behind with the haircut place.
That's right behind the barbershop. Yep. And that. So when they did the Friday night fights that night, that specific night, there was a few guys in our unit that was pretty good boxers, but there's only one guy that stuck out, and that was Powell. And I remember that that specific night there was a bunch of guys that wanted to fight. Steve Zahn, that's what his name was. They wanted to fight Steve Zahn, and he was like, "Oh yeah," and he was getting them riled up. And then he just picked a female, and a chick walks in there, and they're like wrapping her up. And she's this scrawny this little girl, and everyone was like, "He's gonna hit a girl? Like, really? Is this gonna happen?"
Are you serious?
Yeah, and she was a Marine, right? And so as soon as he just started talking smack with the mic or whatever, I mean, she was like, bam, popped him, and then he started running for his life. He was running around the ring, and then she just kept chasing him down and was beating him down. And I'm like, man, yeah, that's awesome because female Marine still pretty tough. Yeah, you're not gonna try to not pick the guys, but he ended up sucking his butt kick. And I his punches, he was punching like that. He wasn't really giving it a good thrust, but it was all right. It was funny. It was good comedy. So he was followed by a whole string of celebrities too that I just didn't know who they were. But
oh, really?
yeah. I must have been lucky to get that night off. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I was working.
You might have been. That'd been one of those nights that you were at the CP.
Yeah, definitely had to be. I probably was pissed. I probably was so pissed.
Well, we always had those moments too. As much as we had a great time there, I remember there was always separation times. We did get separated from Vega for a while. But I know there was times where I was doing stuff, and I know you guys were going out. I remember now, Coop, we kind of got split up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was working as a gunner for Lieutenant Stapleton, and that was, Montgomery was a gunner for a while. Pierce was a gunner, and that's kind of actually when I got into tangles with the one chick that I never want to talk about ever.
Oh my God. Exactly, that's when it happened.
That's when it happened.
You were on the phone all the time.
All the time.
That was so crazy, bro.
I'm not.
That was the early stages of being catfish. That was a total catfish, bro. Yeah. Can you believe that?
I don't even like to look at myself when I talk about this kind of stuff, so I'm just gonna.
Bro, that story is the best story. if I ever want to have people rolling, just say that story. That story was so classic. You know what? You can't even regret that because it's just a classic story that it's part of history. It was just too good. The story was just too good.
That's how I know you can't regret anything. Because if you can't regret that, there's nothing else that can really get worse.
Think about that. Like you would like constantly talk right with her like on the phone in Iraq, and then you get back, and then I even drive you up to Connecticut. You come with me, like we went halfway around the country.
I don't remember our conversations during that trip for some reason. I remember our trip, but I don't. It must have happened so fast. I remember going around.
It happened really fast.
Yeah.
It happened really fast because I remember the trip. I do remember the trip, and I remember driving through like Dallas, and then like we were taking video, and we were like listening to music, jamming out, and then we drove all night, and I think you probably took a nap. Remember we were like eating snacks and stuff from the gas station, and then once we hit like New Jersey, that's like we were like hyped because we were like going into the city.
Yeah,
and
you drove around the turnpike.
Yeah, yep. And then we went into Manhattan, and I showed you around Manhattan and all that.
Yep.
And then we went, and then that's when we got to Connecticut, and I dropped you off next to Chowder Pot, with that seafood restaurant, and that you were like you were getting picked up in that minivan. Remember? I remember like yesterday, man. It was like nighttime.
Yeah, do you? Yeah, the minivan. I remember.
It was like a Chrysler or Dodge Caravan. A brown Caravan. It was like a 1999 or something like that. Yeah. And you were like, like, wait a minute. What's with this minivan? That's when things started like, okay. I told you, like, hey, just let me know if everything's all right. And you never let me know. I would have picked you up, man.
I felt like I didn't want it to be true so bad that my mind went to another area and I just played the game.
Yeah, man. We would have had fun if you would have stayed with me.
I know. Or I would have just brought you with me because I'd already bought the tickets.
That's true. Damn it. Oh, well. Too late, right? Too late for that one. But that was a good story, man. That's crazy. That is a crazy story. The whole effort. Like, that whole thing was just all of this effort. Like, think of it. Some people don't even do half of that. Like, there's people that have never... I know people that haven't traveled out of their state or out of, like, their certain area. Bro, we went halfway around the country. And I went halfway, and I dropped you off. And then you went and did this trip to Vegas and all that. And oh, my goodness. Crazy.
You're making me want to jump out a window right now. I'm like reliving the worst moment of my life. It
is funny. You had to value it. Like, you know what? That happened. It's crazy, but it's a story of a lifetime. It is, man. It's pretty good.
It is for you, Mike. It is for you, okay?
Yeah, for you it is. I freaking hate you. No, but that was crazy.
We all have moments like that, don't we? We all have that. It happens to everybody.
It all happens.
It happens to everybody, Mike.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Sure. Everybody gets catfished sometime, right? No, bro, but come on, man. In 15 months, a lot happened. That's crazy. A lot happened.
Life got a little sadder after that. I mean, it wasn't just that event, but just we got back and...
Yeah, things because people started getting separated and people started PCSing, people started ETSing. I left in February of 2010.
Yep.
Before I left, a couple other people left, Sergeant Burks left, Brigade left, like all those people started leaving.
Yeah.
Remember, they were stop loss, and then they left.
Yep.
Boom. But they left with thousands of dollars, man, of stop loss money. Remember when they got all that stop loss money?
Yeah.
I was like, man, you guys made out like bandits.
Well, we made out good too because every month after that, 12 months, we got $1,000 extra. That's how I came back. I had $23,000, man. And I came back from Vegas and I had way less than that.
Bro, no, man. But come on, we did come back with solid amounts of money. You know, some of us came back, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 cash.
Yeah.
Cash, no debt. So just freaking just like it was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, given another opportunity to go to Vegas is actually coming up here pretty shortly. So, my wife is always upset that I didn't take her. Of course, I hadn't met her yet.
Are you serious?
But no, it's just in a casual joke. However, our neighbors brought up on Friday night Vegas. So
Are you flying to Vegas?
they're flying, but I think they want to go in
Bro.
March or May.
Vegas is good to go because it's cheap to stay there.
Yeah.
Now, everything else is expensive. I haven't been, unfortunately. I was actually supposed to go to Vegas with Jeff in 2007.
Jeffers?
He
Or Jeff Diana?
Jeff Diana.
Oh, yeah.
So Jeff Diana was like, "Hey, I'm going to Vegas this weekend. My brother got this place out there. He's like, you want to go? We just sneak out and do it." And I was like, "Damn it." He's like, "I don't know, man. Like, what if we like get in trouble or something? Like, we can't just up and go." He's like, "No, it's just up and go." And I was like, I don't know. And I punked out, and he went, and he had an awesome time. And I regret not going with him.
Yeah.
Like, he had an awesome time. I was like, shit, man. I can't
Diana
win.
is a monster. That guy, he would be, I remember.
He just texted me. He just texted me, actually, like right now.
Did he?
For 19 minutes ago, yeah. We're always talking. That's why I gotta get him on the. We gotta get him on the podcast. Bro.
He had, yeah, we do.
to.
We definitely do. He had that New York attitude, that mentality. I remember that in the.
He's a straight New Yorker, like
Yeah.
straight up, like hardcore, like Jersey Shore type of like style.
And I remember, he used to work out a lot. I remember he did I think he was in the competitions even.
Oh, he was ripped.
He's
He's still ripped. Have you seen his pictures now? He's freaking ripped.
No, I haven't. But I imagine
No.
I don't see. I mean, his work ethic was uncanny. I think he even had got a degree or he was doing college work. He was while we were
Yeah.
at the barracks. I remember he had a lot of
Yeah,
college.
he
work
finished his bachelor's degree.
Yeah, and
Oh, look,
he was like an adult
Can
for
you
us.
see? Can you see this? Look at that.
Oh, there you go.
That's him.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah, that's right now.
Jeez, oh Pete, man.
Totally ripped. Totally ripped.
Yeah, we actually got in an argument one time at the barracks. I remember he threatened to throw me off the over the edge of the wall there, and I thought he was going to, just the way his face was. But our relationship was so good that they ended up not doing it. We apologized afterwards, but then I messed up later after that because he was supposed to go to the airport to leave, and he was trying to get out of there. And I remember he'd asked me to do it, and I was going to help him out. And then I asked Sergeant Romero if I could take that morning off to go take Diana to the airport, and Romero shut me down, and I delivered it at the worst time because I was thinking that we'd leave at 3-ish, and I kind of slept through it, and I woke up and I was like, oh man, it's way too late now because if I go now, then I can't get away with it, and whatever. And he was like, F you, man, you're gonna F me over on my flight out of here. You're not gonna do that. So he ended up getting a taxi, and then he shoot it out, and I was like, oh, I felt like crap, but he got a taxi and he still left, and it was still good, but I always felt like he was mad about that. Even to this day, if I talk to him, I'd be like, yeah, about the taxi thing. Do you remember that?
As long as you apologize to him as a man, that's all he cares about. He's a straight shooter.
Yeah. He used to call me Sweet Tea, and I don't remember how that happened, but he used to do that all the time.
Your name is T. Timothy.
Yeah, right, yeah. He was like, hey, Sweet Tea, hey. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Jeff is wild. Bro, Jeff went and visited me in 2011, I think it was. And I was living in Massachusetts at the time. And so this one, he was married, and we went to Boston. Bro, we had an awesome time. We got shit-faced. We got high. We were smoking weed and all that. We got torn up. And he had the Yankees hat on, right? We were out at we were in Boston. We were at Cheers drinking and stuff, and people were looking what the hell is this Yankee fan doing here? He thinks, and Jeff would be like, what the hell are you looking at? This is freaking Yankees. You got something crazy. He's like, yeah, let's get him. Let's get him. No one would say shit. Because Jeff is a bulldog, man. Come on, you can't, he's a pit bull.
Yeah.
What are you going to say to him?
Yeah.
He doesn't care, man.
Yeah.
That guy, I have no like. That's the guy you want to have on your corner in a fight.
Yeah.
He could like he'll chew you out. He's a badass guy.
He was the reason that I got to go to the Austin City Limits, and I went with him and Reyes. And I feel like there's another person there. I can't remember who it was, but the Austin City Limits. You remember what that is?
Yep.
They have
that.
the
They
bands
had
just
that and they had
all over the
also South by
place.
Southwest. Yeah.
Yeah, just like South by Southwest. I think South by Southwest has more of a variety of areas. Austin City Limits has kind of a
Yeah,
condensed.
it's all by 6th Street, right?
Yeah, I think it was all by 6th Street, if I remember right. And it was, they had a lot of good bands that night, and it was epic. It was a good time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we're drinking, walking around barefoot in the mud everywhere.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was good, man. Austin, that's where I really learned that Austin is like a really go-to town for a good time.
Austin is awesome, man. Austin is one of the best cities in the United States. There's
Yeah.
just so much to do there.
Yeah.
It was great, man. Just going to Austin was just great.
Yeah,
The environment, like when they could close down the streets, you could just walk around. You got all the bars. It was just so lively. Then it's got good food. It was great. The temperature was always good, even in the winter. Like it would get chilly, but it was always.
and there's such an atmosphere of people that are they're exercising, they're enjoying life,
It's
and then
very active.
yeah,
It's
and
very
then
modern.
6th Street itself, right? I mean, that is a party center that I think a lot of universities would be jealous of because I go to CSU.
They have the Longhorns there, the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah. Yeah, the Texas
University of
Longhorns there. Yep. University of Texas is right there, and so they competed a little bit with College Station, the Aggies.
The Aggies.
Texas A&M. But the thing is that they were just so different. I've been to both. I was at College Station for like a country concert, and then I was at Austin for Party Central, and it's a totally different monster at Austin. It's one of those things that everyone needs to do at least once
Yeah,
in
because
life.
College Station is just a town that's a college town. That's
Yeah.
it. And then
Big shopping centers, that kind of thing.
yeah, but
Not a lot.
Austin is its own city. It's just great.
Yeah.
Austin's awesome.
Yeah.
Austin, which is gonna rhyme and sound corny, but Austin is the South type of Boston. So you look at Boston, right? The type of city that Boston is.
Yeah.
You got that type of personality and very. I don't know, maybe a little liberal when it comes to that, and the university educate, and then that's in Texas, and everywhere else in Texas is very different. But Austin is so different from the rest of Texas.
Yeah.
Like when we used to go to Dallas, Dallas is a different world.
Yeah. I actually didn't like Dallas that much.
Really? I like Dallas.
We went through to do like the convention center with that hot import nights, and I got to go to that atmosphere. But I mean, Dallas Fort Worth is kind of where it was at for me because the Six Flags that was there.
Oh,
But-
Arlington. In
Yeah, in Arlington, yeah. But other than that, I mean, we had one down in San Antonio, Six Flags, Fiesta,
Yeah.
Texas. And that one was, I thought, even better.
That was way better.
Yeah.
I went there with Vega.
Yep.
I went there with Vega and Tammy and what's her name? Tammy's friend. She was a lieutenant. So we went and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like and I went to the one in Arlington in 2006 with remember Buser? You ever remember Buser?
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
He was like a supply guy.
Wasn't he tall?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, no.
He had glasses though.
Mm,
Oh, he didn't
I'm
put
not
up
tracking it too much.
No. So yeah, I went with them, and we went to, we had a good time. It was cool, and then we hung out in Dallas, and I went to Dallas a couple times. I went to Dallas also with Dooley and Churchill.
Oh,
I was
Churchill,
helping
yeah.
Churchill buy a pickup truck, and I took him to Dallas to look at pickup trucks up there.
I wonder if
and then
Churchill
we
went
went-
back to Michigan because he was from
Oh,
Michigan.
really?
He was.
What was he part of the other part of Michigan? Was he part of that Michigan?
No, he was
Oh,
part of the
was-
middle, like Holton Lake, if I remember right. Like I think,
Oh yeah.
yeah, because I remember him talking about boat
Bro,
fishing
since I haven't seen that guy, and nothing. Like I don't
Yeah.
even know if he has like Facebook or anything.
Williams is like 2 hours south of me.
Oh,
I could-
really?
I could go see
He
him.
got ripped. He got freaking huge.
I think he got a
man.
little, I think he's muscly, but he looks like he kind of packed on some fluff there too. I'm gonna pick on him.
Well,
I think
he's
he,
skinny.
compared to what he used to be, right? Because he used to be really skinny, but still he had pretty good definition. as much as a man would tell another man. But I think, you know, he got out to Colorado, maybe just because he got out and stopped running. I think he picked up a few pounds, which I've done the same. So it happens.
That's all we did was freaking run.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell were we running from? Why were we running all the time? All we did was run, man.
I remember right before a competition, him and John talked me into drinking, and we had to be up that next morning for a competition. It was like you did the APFT in the morning, then you did a ruck march, and I can't remember what they called it, but it was something within the field artillery's like competition, like the weapons section, and like there's a big competition, so it was all day.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that night before, they got me drunk, and they were drunk, and so when we woke up, we were like, what? And I remember I ran that day, and I was hungover, and I ran one of the best 2-mile runs I had run, like, that year. And I was an A-team runner. I was a good runner back then. And I still ran, like, a really good, it was, like, barely over 13-minute 2-mile. It was, like, 13:02 or something crazy. And I remember, like, I just felt good the whole run. I was like, what is going on? And I remember drinking so much water before we actually got out there. And I woke up super early after, like, not getting much sleep. But just something about the alcohol. No, I never tried to repeat it because I'm afraid. Like, maybe that's because I was young. I'm not about to do that anymore. But it was gutsy.
No, I wouldn't do that now. No
it was
way
gutsy.
I would do that.
You know, that's when I was afraid of everything. You remember, like, that initial stage in your army where you're nervous about everything. Like, you don't want to do anything wrong because you don't know what you're going to get yelled at about. And when you got yelled at, it was horrible, and you thought your career ends the minute you do something wrong.
Because you don't want to get a UCMJ or anything. Article 15. That's the last thing anybody wants. Extra duty? Like, no, I want extra duty.
But you hang out with Coltrane and Williams and Dooley and Buck and Solis, and I remember that was what they did. It was like you party. You don't do anything else. There's party nights, and I remember when you came out to Ernie's a couple times. That's where I got pictures of you peeing in the parking lot, and and those were a few nights that were good. Man. Karaoke nights, and it was party crazy. It was something.
Because remember,
crazy.
you used to hang out with them a lot at that time. And
yeah.
I used to hang out with Sarn Burks. It was Sarn Burks.
That's right.
Piccolo.
We went all the way to Houston to see those guys one time. I remember.
No, we went to Sarn Burks.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yep.
I had to go drop something off to Sarn Burks.
Yep.
Which was an award, and he was already out of the army.
Yep.
And so we went in your Mustang.
Yeah, that's right.
Your Mustang.
Yeah.
And we even drove through College Station, I remember.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we went out to that Mexican restaurant, and the guy came out with the shrimps that they were like bacon wrapped shrimps.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody had them, and they were all.
What was that place? It's a franchise. Chi-Chi's? No.
I don't think it was a franchise. I think it was like a local type of like Mexican cantina place. And so I remember I was like, I wanted the bacon wrapped shrimps, and I wasn't the only one that ordered them, right? But when the guy comes and brings me mine, they're not even sizzling. Everyone had their iron skillets, and they were sizzling, and mine wasn't. I was like, wait a minute, why isn't like mine sizzling like theirs? And Sarn Burks was like cracking up, and we were like, what the hell? And I was like, mine isn't sizzling. Like, you better bring me back the right stuff.
Yeah.
And then he brought like. And it was just, we had a good time, man. It was a good time.
So that's another guy. Burks. We gotta get him on the show. I gotta see where he's at.
We have fun.
Both of them. The two Burks. They're two.
Yeah, both of them. Both of them, man.
I have them on Facebook. All I gotta do is
I have them on Facebook too.
Yeah. So
I think Glenny lives in Dallas or in Fort Worth. I think so. I think that's where he's living.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if the other Burke is living in, I think he's in South Korea, maybe stationed. I gotta double check, but I think he's warrant officer now. I'm not too sure.
We could do a whole chain of events with this podcast and get, we'll have to get them in on either because having 3 people on there. I think we're definitely going to need to do the Skype version of it, so we have multiple windows. So you're gonna have to get your account, but as a first trial, I think this is pretty good, and we'll look at it, and I'll try to edit it just to mess with some quirks and just see how we can do an intro and an exit. whatever. Just be fun with it.
Yeah,
See
man.
what
See,
happens.
this is too much fun. See, I'm telling you, this is just great. Isn't this great?
Yeah. Yeah,
This is great.
we got a lot to. We could talk about. I mean, this is just past what we've done. A lot of our ideals are identical on a lot of things, so we're gonna be able to spin off each other's topics quite easy.
Yeah, man. Because we can just randomly just pick certain topics, whatever topics are coming through the day, and just talk. And right now we're talking about stuff that we went through in the military at that time.
Right.
And that's just one subject. And obviously down the line, we could coordinate with some of these guys and try to have them we can have a conference and then aside from that, any other topics that we talk about, and then we can hashtag all this stuff so that whoever's interested in certain topics, it shows up and they could listen in, and if they want, if they not, no, that's fine. But we're having fun, man. We're conversating. If people want to listen to our stories, awesome. They're welcome, and this is great. Going down memory lane, just talking about all this.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Well, yeah.
I was like, look, bro, we're recording what we went through. These are memories that we're storing. We're saving this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be able to remember this. If we ever get old and Alzheimer's and not be able to remember, we could go and always reference this. It's yes, I remember that time.
Yeah.
You can always refresh your memory. This is great, man. This is good stuff.
And one of these shows too, we're gonna have to get another. I mean, you've probably told the story 200 times, I imagine. But you got to, again, tell the story about your own version of Titanic, real life.
Oh, man. Yesterday the 13th was the anniversary. So it happened in 2012. So it's been 6 years since the wrecking.
So what was the name of that ship again? Do you remember?
The Costa Concordia?
The Costa Concordia, that's right.
Bro, 6 years. It happened in 2012, January 13th, 2012. It was Friday the 13th. And what day is it today? Today's January the 14th, 2018.
That's right.
Crazy.
So this is Saturday.
Yeah, I'll give that story and stuff. I got even videos.
Yeah.
When I took.
And that's another thing I can do. So while we're talking about this stuff, when we talk about Iraq and stuff like that, when I'm doing video editing, I can actually bring up photos.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And so, be like, oh yeah, you remember that time we were at Alpha Palace and you were in the room, and I'm gonna have the photo there, and we'll just keep talking about it and stuff like that. So it'll be relevant.
I got the pictures from when we drove to Connecticut of us.
Do you?
Picture? Yes, I do. I have pictures because you had the camera. I gave you the camera. You took pictures with the camera. You took pictures of me driving when I got the Mercedes for the first time.
You were wearing a black leather jacket, weren't you? Were you? Somebody got a picture that, you're driving and you're looking straight forward. And I remember taking a side photo.
I don't think I had I had a T-shirt. I had some colored full T-shirt. I don't know. But I had sunglasses. I had black Prada sunglasses, and I had a cigarette in my mouth.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Taking pictures.
Because it was so cool. Because we were so cool then.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, but that was a fun road trip.
It was.
And then I can tell you the story. I can remember the story of my road trip with Jeff, Diana.
Yes,
with
the wheel.
Yeah.
I've told that story to a couple people, man. Because
really,
dude, my buddy got some hub caps that weren't put on right, and
it was rims, bro.
It was the rim itself where it wasn't bolted on right.
Tire. It was a rim. It was a tire.
And the vibration, and you stop and pull over, and as you pulled off to the right, that thing just kept going.
It just kept going, man. Oh my god. And it was just starting our journey to drive to from Texas. Bro, I got pulled over 3 times that day.
Oh, bad luck.
Yeah.
Bad luck. You got a lot of speeding tickets in your lifetime so far?
Yes.
Yes?
I have a whole collection of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you don't even want to know.
I've been so lucky, man. I've been so lucky. You want to know how many I've gotten?
Oh man, don't tell me what, 0?
I've had
you
one.
Got one?
Yeah, one ticket.
Here,
and it happened a year ago. It happened a year ago too. So I had a 10-year streak. 0 speeding
I got
tickets.
pulled over yesterday, man. The worst.
Yesterday?
The worst. Yes.
How much?
I'll tell you. This is offline. I gotta tell you.
Oh.
Yeah, this is off. Yeah. Oh my god, you don't want to know. But,
Okay.
Bro, it's constantly. It's like I'm a magnet.
I remember you're driving in New York, and I was thinking you were crazy to have a Mercedes Benz and be driving that close to people, in and out, cutting in and out. And I remember you just told me, hey, that's just the way it is here. That's just the way it is. You were telling me a story about how you took a right and then you got pulled over by a cop who was like, you weren't supposed to take a right on that stoplight or something crazy.
Hey, you remember that? Yeah, that was right by my grandma's.
Yeah.
That was in Jerome in the Bronx.
And
Yep, I remember that. The cop was yelling at me.
But you were military, I think, at that time too, right? And
yeah, yeah, he let me go.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, I remember that story. But just driving around that Jersey Pike and the way you drove, I was like, I will never drive here because I am not prepared for that.
It was intense, right?
Yeah, I remember
it was an intense place to drive.
We went through that town, and I remember I was thinking, all these tall buildings, where the fuck is Spider-Man? When's he gonna come swinging through here? Because it was just like the movies. I can't imagine.
That was your first impression, right?
That's right.
I like to know people's first impression of New York. People have all types of opinions.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have either good stories or bad stories. It's either or.
I got good stories.
Yeah, it was great. Well, we had a good time.
Yeah, we did.
It was wild. It was cool. We got there. We got right into Manhattan. You saw all those buildings. You were like, wow, it was great.
Yeah.
I was happy to drive. Driving around after so long being away. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
That was great, man. I think so. Throughout the next week, we'll come up with a good topic for our next podcast, and we'll try our best to stick with it, even though it doesn't really matter because we're all here just for fun.
Man, we're just winging all this.
Yeah. And yeah. So I'll edit it, and we'll look at we'll edit this episode, and then we'll look at it and see what we liked about it, what we didn't like, and we'll just learn. It's a learning process. And,
that's right.
If we need to add in a customized intro and whatever, we'll do it and just make the most out of it. And,
awesome, man.
And we'll let Chris in, and we'll get some advertising going. And
yeah, well, we got cars to talk about,
business ideas. Yeah, cars. We got the coffee.
History, politics, philosophy, religion. Oh my God, things that you're not supposed to talk about.
New movies, new books.
Yes.
iTech that's coming out.
Bro, I got a thing to show you. Have you watched Black Mirror yet?
Even my brother told me to watch that show, but I haven't.
You gotta watch Black Mirror, man. I'm gonna send you a link to this thing that I got of some crazy robot where they could put your consciousness within that body of robot. Bro, it's crazy. And there's an episode of that.
Yeah.
On Black Mirror. Craziest thing.
That's kind of like Champy. A little bit, that movie that came out. But yeah, I gotta watch it because I'm still on Blacklist and I haven't finished Blacklist, and I didn't want to start Black Mirror while watching Blacklist because I thought it was too much, what is it called? Black. And so I didn't want to, I was like, man, I gotta balance out my shows. If everything's named Black this, Black that, I thought I would start getting like a darker concept on shows. I didn't want to go that route. Because I think Black Mirror is like a haunted, scary show type thing about tech, isn't it? Like tech's kind of a bad thing, and people are getting beat up. It looks cool to me. The way I looked at it. It wasn't the very nice version of tech that I know of, like Persons of Interest, where it's trying to protect people. It's and then the Blacklist is guys going after evil people constantly. But yeah, so next week, man, we'll be back on, and we're gonna have some other topics, and it's gonna be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. And
all right,
that's good, man.
Awesome.
So you ready? You ready to sign out?
Yeah, signing out.
All right, man. Hey, I'm gonna stop the recording, and you have a great night, and we'll talk a little bit after this.
All right, brother. Yeah, go get you some pizza.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. All right. Take care.
All right, bye.
What you say about society? Catch the mist.